For most of the world, Arnold Schwarzenegger was never just a man. He was an idea. Muscle, willpower, victory. A living proof that sheer ambition could bend reality itself. Born in a small Austrian village with little money and an abusive father, Arnold learned early that weakness was punished and strength was survival. While other boys accepted the limits of their environment, Arnold rejected them outright. He didn't just want to leave Austria. He wanted to conquer the world. And somehow, impossibly, he did. By his early 20s, Arnold had already rewritten the rules of bodybuilding. He didn't simply win Mr. Olympia, he dominated it. His physique wasn't just admired, it was mythologized. To millions, his body represented the peak of human potential. Discipline turned into flesh. Obsession turned into art. But the most dangerous part of Arnold's rise wasn't the weights. It was the belief that followed. If you are strong enough, nothing can break you. That belief would carry him to unimaginable heights and quietly plant the seeds of his deepest tragedy. Hollywood laughed when he arrived in America. A thick accent, an unpronounceable name, a body too big for film. Executives told him he would never be a leading man. Arnold didn't argue. He outworked them. He reinvented what a leading man could be. Then came Conan. Then came the Terminator. Suddenly, the very things they mocked became his weapons. His accent made him alien. His body made him unstoppable. His silence made him terrifying. Arnold didn't need Shakespearean dialogue. His presence was enough. By the 1990s, he wasn't just a movie star. He was a global symbol of invincibility. Men wanted to be him. Studios bet everything on him. Governments welcomed him. And Arnold, driven by a hunger that never turned off, kept climbing. Bodybuilder, actor, producer, icon. But there was always something else. Another mountain, another title, another identity to conquer. So when Arnold announced he was running for governor of California, many thought it was a joke. Until it wasn't. Against seasoned politicians, scandals, and skepticism, Arnold won. Again, the same formula applied. Confidence, charisma, relentless self-belief. He became Governor Schwarzenegger, proof that even politics could be conquered by will alone. From the outside, Arnold's life looked like a flawless upward arc. But the truth was far more fragile. Behind the muscle, Arnold's body had already begun to betray him. Years of extreme bodybuilding had placed immense strain on his heart. Long before the public knew, Arnold was undergoing heart surgeries, valve replacements, procedures that reminded him, quietly, repeatedly, that he was not indestructible. That the very body which made him famous was also wearing him down. And yet, Arnold did what he always did. He ignored the warnings. He pushed forward, because stopping felt like losing. But physical decline wasn't the most devastating cost of his ambition. The real fracture happened at home. Arnold built his public image as the ultimate family man. A powerful wife, successful children, a picture-perfect American dream. For years, the illusion held. And then, suddenly, it didn't. When the truth emerged, a long-hidden affair and a secret child, the damage was irreversible. Not because of tabloids, not because of public judgment, but because of betrayal. Arnold later admitted something rare for a man who had won everything else. That was my biggest failure. The marriage ended. Trust was shattered. His children were forced to process a reality that contradicted the hero they grew up with. And Arnold, for the first time in his life, faced a problem he could not lift, intimidate, or outwork. This wasn't a villain he could terminate. It was himself. As the years passed, the roles slowed. The action heroes aged out. Hollywood moved on, as it always does. Politics faded into history. Applause became memory. And Arnold entered a phase no amount of discipline could prevent. Aging. At 78, Arnold still trains, still smiles, still motivates millions online. But the silence is louder now. No more box office dominance. No more political power. No intact family to return to at night. Only reflection. This is where the tragedy truly lives. Not in poverty, not in obscurity, but in the realization that success does not protect you from regret. Arnold Schwarzenegger prove that a man can build himself from nothing into a legend. But his story also proves something far more uncomfortable. You can win every public battle and still lose the private war that matters most. And in the next part, we'll confront the moment Arnold himself finally admitted what all the trophies, titles, and triumphs couldn't fix, and why the man who defined strength now speaks openly about weakness. And yet, what makes Arnold's story truly unsettling is not that he fell, but when he finally understood what he had lost. For decades, Arnold lived by a single operating system: forward motion. When something hurt, he trained harder. When something failed, he added another goal. Reflection was weakness. Stillness was danger. The idea of slowing down felt like death long before his heart ever faltered. So when his political career ended, Arnold told himself it was just another transition, another chapter. He would return to films. He would stay relevant. He would keep moving. But time doesn't negotiate, not even with legends. The roles that came back weren't the same. They were nostalgic, smaller, built on memories rather than dominance. Audiences clapped because they remembered who Arnold was, not because they believed he still was that man. And Arnold felt the difference. For the first time in his life, effort no longer guaranteed victory. That realization hit hardest in the quiet moments, the kind no camera ever captured. Arnold has spoken openly about waking up alone in massive houses, surrounded by reminders of success, but disconnected from intimacy. The irony was brutal. He had built empires. He had commanded rooms. He had influenced millions. Yet the conversations that mattered most, the ones with his children, with the woman he lost, with himself, could not be scripted or controlled. And that's where the true HLLW wound opens. Arnold did not lose his family because he lacked discipline. He lost them because he believed strength excused absence. In his mind, providing was loving. Winning was responsibility. Being larger than life meant sacrifices were inevitable. But what he learned, far too late, is that the people closest to you don't need your legend. They need your presence. No amount of redemption tours can fully erase that lesson. Yes, Arnold rebuilt relationships. He took responsibility. He showed humility in ways the younger version of himself never would have considered. But repair is not reversal. Some damage doesn't disappear, it just becomes quieter. And then there is the body. Arnold still trains, but carefully now. Every movement is calculated. Every exertion carries consequence. The man who once chased pain now manages it. Doctors replace bravado. Recovery replaces conquest. This shift is psychologically devastating for someone whose identity was forged through physical dominance. Arnold didn't just lose strength. He lost the language he used to understand himself. At 78, he exists in a paradox, admired more than ever, yet internally stripped of the very traits that built that admiration. Fans see inspiration. Arnold feels limitation. That tension explains why his modern interviews feel different. Slower, more reflective, less declarative. When he speaks about success now, his words carry warnings instead of commandments. He talks about balance, about listening, about mistakes, not because it sounds good, but because he knows the cost of ignoring those ideas. The most heartbreaking part of Arnold Schwarzenegger's story is not that he failed morally or physically. It's that he succeeded too completely in the wrong direction for too long. He chased the external scoreboard so relentlessly that by the time he checked the internal one, the numbers were already final. This is the uncomfortable truth viewers connect to instinctively. Arnold is not tragic because he ended up poor, disgraced, or forgotten. He is tragic because he became everything the world told him to be, and discovered that the world's applause doesn't keep you warm at night. That realization doesn't come with drama. It comes with silence. And silence is where Part BA goes next, into the moments Arnold rarely discusses, the thoughts he hints at but never fully articulates, and the quiet fear that follows legends when they finally stop running. Because when the muscle fades, the titles expire, and the noise dies down. What remains is not the icon. It's the man. As Arnold faces the final chapters of his journey, The reality of aging becomes more than just a passing thought. It becomes an inevitability that no achievement, no title, no amount of fame or fortune can outrun. What remains in the aftermath of such an extraordinary life is a quieter, more intimate reckoning. The world continues to see him as a symbol of strength and perseverance. But within himself, Arnold has confronted something far more profound: the fragility of the very thing that made him famous, his indestructible image. For years, Arnold's identity was entirely bound to the image he projected to the world. He was not just a bodybuilder, a movie star, or a politician. He was a force of nature. His famous "I'll be back" from the Terminator became a mantra, a promise that no obstacle could ever stop him. But the truth that Arnold now faces is that life, in its most humbling form, has a way of rewriting those promises. The body that once seemed impervious to pain now bears the marks of time. His once invincible spirit is no longer immune to the erosion that comes with age, and in that, he finds himself in a position he never truly prepared for. This new phase of life forces Arnold to reflect on the choices that have led him here. How many times did he push his body to the brink in pursuit of perfection? How many hours spent training relentlessly, ignoring the small aches, the quiet warnings? How many moments of his personal life were sacrificed for the sake of his public image? These questions haunt him in ways they never did before. The truth is, Arnold built his legacy on the idea that relentless effort could overcome any obstacle. But in his personal life, especially in his relationships, he learned that effort alone was not enough. Consistency in work is valuable, but consistency in relationships, in being present, in being vulnerable, that is something entirely different. The most painful revelation for Arnold isn't just the physical decline. It's the emotional toll that comes with the realization that his absence, his drive to be the best, came at a personal cost. His marriage to Maria Shriver, once the shining example of Hollywood power couples, ended not because of scandal alone, but because of years of neglect, miscommunication, and a lack of balance. Arnold often speaks of the regret he feels for not being the husband and father his family needed. The legacy of his bodybuilding success, of his action films, is undeniable. But the question that Arnold has to live with every day is, what kind of father and husband will he be remembered as? The tragedy lies not in losing fame or fortune, but in the realization that while he conquered the world, the personal relationships that matter most were slipping away. No amount of success in the spotlight can fill the hollow spaces left by personal failure. It's easy to assume that someone with Arnold's history would feel nothing but pride for his achievements. After all, he has been a symbol of hope, the embodiment of the American dream. His rise from poverty in Austria to global fame is the stuff of legend. But within the walls of his quiet home, when the cameras are off, when the interviews are over, Arnold is faced with a far more complicated truth. He has reached the peak of his career, but the weight of that success, the constant striving, the constant hunger to be the best, the endless pursuit of more, has left him with little to hold on to in the end. What remains, then, for a man who has achieved it all? The answer is both simple and painful: a search for redemption. Not in the way the world expects, but in a deeper, more personal sense. Arnold now seeks peace, not through new achievements or recognition, but through understanding, healing, and connecting with the people he loves. As Arnold's life continues to unfold, his legacy is shifting. He is no longer just the invincible, muscular action hero or the larger-than-life politician. He is a man who has lived through it all, and now he must reckon with the quiet and difficult truth of his own humanity. He no longer seeks the adoration of millions. Instead, he seeks reconciliation with his past mistakes, his lost time, and the family that he lost along the way. And though time cannot undo the wounds, it is clear that Arnold Schwarzenegger's journey will continue to unfold, not in the press conferences or movie premieres, but in the quieter moments where he faces his deepest regrets and perhaps his greatest triumphs. Healing and coming to peace with himself. In the end, Arnold's legacy will not be defined by his muscles or the movies, but by the courage it takes to admit that even the strongest of men must also face their vulnerabilities. And that perhaps is the greatest strength of all. As Arnold steps further into his golden years, the deeper layers of his legacy begin to reveal themselves, not just as a collection of trophies, records, and headlines, but in the quiet, more subtle moments that he has come to cherish. The grandiose persona that once commanded the world's attention, a persona forged in steel and iron, is now contrasted with the introspective man who grapples with what it means to be truly human. He has made it clear in interviews that his quest now isn't for more fame or wealth. It's not for another role in a blockbuster movie or another term in politics. Rather, Arnold's focus has shifted toward connection. Connection with those around him, particularly his children, and a deeper connection with himself. The muscle-bound, action hero exterior that once made him a symbol of invincibility now feels like a distant memory, one that can never be sustained forever. This shift in focus hasn't been easy. There is no handbook for an icon on how to evolve when the accolades stop coming and the world moves on. Arnold's post-Hollywood journey has been a difficult, yet fascinating, one. And perhaps the most fascinating part is how he is still reinventing himself. This time, with a focus on personal growth, reflection, and seeking redemption in ways that his previous battles never required. The man who was once the epitome of relentless drive is now seeking balance. In his personal life, he has worked hard to mend the relationships that were strained due to his years of tunnel vision. He speaks of his regrets openly, not just as a form of apology, but as a lesson for the next generation. In interviews, Arnold has shared that being an active participant in the lives of his children is the most important thing now. The kind of presence that his previous ambition and the weight of his public persona never allowed him to give them. He works to show up for them in ways that go beyond material gifts or public gestures. He now knows the importance of being there, in the moment, fully present, even if it means taking a break from the spotlight. But it's not just about his family. Arnold is now invested in causes that matter deeply to him, many of which focus on sustainability, fitness, and health, causes he can genuinely pour his energy into without needing to prove anything to anyone else. The same passion that drove him to become the world's most successful bodybuilder and actor is now channeled into initiatives that benefit the world around him. For Arnold, this is an important chapter in a life that has seen so many dramatic turns. One of the most poignant moments of Arnold's transformation is his public reflection on his legacy. He's often asked about how he wants to be remembered, and his answer has shifted over time. No longer does he talk about the number of championships, the films, or even his time as governor. Now he talks about impact. He wants to be remembered for the ways in which he gave back, for how he made people feel empowered to pursue their own dreams, and for the honesty with which he's faced his flaws and mistakes. There is something humbling in the way Arnold speaks now. His voice, which once boomed in stadiums and movie theaters, now carries a quieter, more reflective tone. The lessons he has learned, some the hard way, are shared with the same vigor he used to bring to his speeches and action scenes, but this time his focus is on guiding others. The man who once dominated the world's attention now seeks to help others rise up in their own lives, without needing to always be at the center of it all. And despite everything that has happened, despite the mistakes and heartache, Arnold continues to find joy in life. He's still a lover of fitness, still training to maintain his health, but not to the point of obsession. He's still connected to the world of entertainment, but in a way that's more about contributing than competing. His passion for giving back has given him a new sense of purpose, a purpose that's not tied to victory or fame, but to creating something positive in the world that lasts beyond him. Looking back, the question Arnold faces is not one of regret, but of reflection. The lesson, perhaps, is that no matter how much we achieve in life, there will always be a part of us that longs for the things that can't be measured by awards or accomplishments. Love, connection, and the simple, quiet moments with the people we care about are the things that ultimately matter. Arnold has found that truth, and while it has taken him years to reach, it is a truth that will last beyond all the records he's broken or the roles he's played. Arnold Schwarzenegger's legacy, then, is not just built on his accomplishments, but on the lessons he now shares with the world. That even the most invincible among us have their moments of vulnerability, and that true strength comes not from the ability to conquer the world, but from the ability to conquer oneself, face one's regrets, and find redemption in the quiet moments of life. This is the new chapter for Arnold, and perhaps the most significant one of all. It's not about winning anymore. It's about healing, forgiving, and finally being able to say, "I'm at peace." As Arnold embraces this new chapter of his life, the narrative of his legacy has evolved into something far more meaningful than simply conquering physical or professional challenges. His story is now one of transformation, not just in terms of career, but in his understanding of what truly matters. The lessons he shares today are steeped in a humility that contrasts sharply with the unstoppable force that once defined him. One of the most profound aspects of Arnold's evolution is his commitment to mental health. Having lived through the grueling demands of being both an athlete and a public figure, Arnold now speaks openly about the toll that constant pressure can have on the mind. For years, he operated with the mindset that strength was physical, that being tough, relentless, and pushing through hardship was the only path to success. But the reality of his own physical decline, combined with the pain of personal failure, forced him to confront the emotional and mental aspects of strength. True resilience, he realized, lies not in denial, but in understanding and vulnerability. Arnold now advocates for the importance of mental well-being, encouraging others to seek help, embrace their vulnerabilities, and understand that it's okay not to be okay. His story is now one that not only inspires through his past triumphs, but also offers insight into the power of self-awareness, growth, and healing. He talks openly about his struggles, particularly the loneliness that accompanied his immense fame and success. The irony of it all is that the very things that seemed like blessings, the fame, the recognition, the physical prowess, were also the things that distanced him from true connection. But now, with more time and perspective, Arnold has shifted his focus toward personal fulfillment, emphasizing that success doesn't look like what we're taught to believe it does. It's not about the money, the titles, or the applause. It's about finding peace within oneself and contributing to the well-being of others. For Arnold, this has translated into involvement in charitable efforts, personal mentorship, and a growing passion for environmental sustainability, areas where he can leave a lasting impact that extends beyond his personal story. Interestingly, Arnold's relationship with social media has also reflected this shift in mindset. While the platform has often been used for self-promotion, Arnold now uses it to spread messages of kindness, positivity, and the importance of physical and mental well-being. His online presence isn't about creating an image of perfection, but about showing the world that even the most iconic figures can struggle, can learn, and can evolve. Arnold embraces the fact that he's not perfect, and he shares that vulnerability with his followers, letting them know that they don't have to be either. In this new phase, Arnold has taken on the role of a mentor, not just to young athletes or aspiring politicians, but to anyone who is looking for guidance on how to navigate the complexities of life. He teaches that true strength is not just about how much weight you can lift or how many accolades you can collect. It's about the strength to admit your mistakes, the courage to confront your fears, and the resilience to rise after you've fallen. For someone who once prided himself on his physical invincibility, this realization is perhaps his greatest victory. And in his personal life, the changes are equally profound. Arnold's relationship with his children has deepened, as he now understands more fully the value of time spent with loved ones. He's no longer just a distant figure. He is an active participant in their lives, listening to their struggles and offering support when needed. The famous distance he once kept from his family is closed, and he is making up for lost time, proving that it's never too late to repair relationships and build stronger, more genuine bonds. For Arnold, this journey of self-discovery has been the most difficult, but also the most rewarding. As he continues to age, he acknowledges the importance of legacy, not as the accolades and awards that come with being one of the world's most recognizable figures, but as the impact he has on others. Whether it's through helping others find their passion for fitness, advocating for mental health awareness, or supporting environmental causes, Arnold has come to understand that his true legacy is not about what he accomplished, but about how he made others feel and the positive changes he inspired in the lives of those around him. In this late stage of life, Arnold is still building his legacy, but in a way that's far more significant than the muscles, the fame, or the accolades. He is building it through his actions, his relationships, and the wisdom he's gained from a life that's had as much heartbreak as triumph. It's a legacy rooted in growth, humility, and a profound realization that the greatest strength lies in knowing one's weaknesses. As he continues to reflect on his past, Arnold's transformation serves as a powerful reminder that even the greatest among us must eventually confront their own mortality, flaws, and imperfections. His journey is no longer just about achieving external success. It's about internal peace, redemption, and a commitment to being better, not just for himself, but for the world around him. And that, perhaps, is Arnold Schwarzenegger's greatest victory of all. The victory of a man who learned that the toughest battle of all is not winning the world, but winning the fight within. As Arnold's journey continues to unfold, there is an undeniable sense that his evolution is far from over. While he may have achieved almost everything one could hope for in terms of fame, power, and influence, his most meaningful legacy will likely be the lessons he imparts about the human experience, about overcoming obstacles, about striving for greatness, and ultimately about finding peace. In many ways, Arnold's transformation from a global icon to a more introspective figure is a journey that mirrors the experiences of countless others. As we age, we often realize that the things we once thought defined us, our achievements, our external markers of success, begin to fade, and we're left with something much more profound: the relationships we've cultivated, the people we've touched, and the quiet inner peace we've worked so hard to attain. For Arnold, it's clear that he's come to understand that true greatness is not in how the world perceives you, but in how you perceive yourself. In the past, he would have measured his worth by his physical strength or by the titles he accumulated. But now, the measure of his success lies in his ability to look in the mirror and accept not just his triumphs, but his failures as well. The willingness to be vulnerable, to admit where you've fallen short, and to use those lessons to guide others is what truly defines strength. This kind of strength isn't something that can be easily quantified. It doesn't show up in headlines or trophies. It's the quiet wisdom that comes from years of experience, from moments of self-reflection, and from the deep understanding that life is not about the things we achieve, but about how we navigate the journey itself. Arnold has spent so much of his life pushing forward, always striving for more, always chasing the next goal. But now, as he approaches his 80s, he's learned that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply stop and look back, not with regret, but with gratitude for the lessons learned along the way. It's this shift in perspective that has allowed him to embrace his own mortality and see it not as something to be feared, but as a natural part of life. In the end, it's not how long we live, but how deeply we live that matters most. And perhaps the most beautiful aspect of Arnold's transformation is his newfound commitment to helping others live more fulfilling lives. Through his advocacy for mental health, sustainability, and self-improvement, Arnold is using his platform to inspire people not to chase after fame or material success, but to live authentically, to find joy in the small moments, and to build meaningful connections with those around them. Arnold knows better than most that no one is immune to hardship. No matter how strong, how successful, or how invincible we might appear, we are all vulnerable. But that vulnerability, as Arnold has come to understand, is where true strength is born. It's in embracing our imperfections, acknowledging our flaws, and using them as a source of growth that we find our real power. In his final chapters, Arnold is no longer seeking external validation. Instead, he is cultivating the kind of internal peace that can only come with age and wisdom. He is learning to live with gratitude for the moments that truly matter, for the love of his children, for the opportunity to contribute to causes that matter, and for the ability to inspire others through his journey. As he continues to grow, Arnold's story will undoubtedly inspire future generations to come. It is a story that proves that no matter how much we achieve, we are all on a constant path of learning, evolving, and understanding ourselves in new ways. And that, perhaps, is the greatest victory of all, the ability to keep growing, to keep striving for better, and to leave a legacy that is not defined by what we've conquered, but by how we've transformed ourselves and others along the way. For Arnold Schwarzenegger, the greatest strength isn't in his muscles or his titles. It's in his ability to face life's challenges with humility, to heal from the wounds of the past, and to show the world that even the greatest heroes can find redemption, not by climbing the highest mountains or lifting the heaviest weights, but by embracing the human journey and all the imperfections that come with it. And in doing so, Arnold has proven that true greatness comes from the heart, and it is that heart that will ultimately be his lasting legacy. As Arnold continues to navigate the final years of his life, his story becomes an even more powerful testament to the importance of self-awareness, growth, and human connection. He has gone from being the indestructible titan of bodybuilding and Hollywood to a man who now embraces vulnerability as a strength, a journey that many might never have expected from someone so synonymous with power and invincibility. But in this phase of life, Arnold has come to realize that true power is not about overpowering others or constantly proving oneself. True power is found in self-acceptance, in the courage to confront your own weaknesses, and in the ability to adapt and evolve. It is in the quiet moments of reflection, the moments when we can truly understand ourselves, that we gain the wisdom to continue on, not with the weight of past mistakes, but with the strength of our experiences. The man who once took on entire armies and robots in movies now has a different type of battle, facing the passage of time with grace and understanding. He has come to understand that the legacy he leaves behind won't be measured by how many times he stood victorious in the ring or on screen, but by the relationships he nurtures and the impact he has on those around him. In the final chapters of his journey, Arnold is determined to lead by example. He is actively engaged in speaking out about mental health, not just as an afterthought, but as a vital aspect of the human experience that needs just as much attention as physical fitness. As someone who has faced numerous challenges, from the intense pressures of bodybuilding to the high stakes of politics and the personal heartbreak that has shaped his life, Arnold now recognizes the importance of mental and emotional well-being in maintaining true strength. Arnold has said that his true purpose in life now is to inspire others to be their best selves, not by chasing external glory, but by caring for their bodies, minds, and relationships. He emphasizes that anyone, no matter their age or stage in life, can find new purpose and meaning. For Arnold, that means finding fulfillment in the things that truly matter: personal growth, giving back, and sharing wisdom. As a father, Arnold is doing everything in his power to show his children what it means to be truly present in the lives of those you love. After years of focusing on his career, Arnold is now dedicating himself to being the father he always wanted to be. He talks often about the importance of family and how he wishes he had spent more time with his loved ones when he was younger. He says that his greatest regret is not being there for his family in the way that he should have been, and now he makes it a point to be actively involved in the lives of his children and those who matter most. But beyond the family unit, Arnold's new purpose is tied to a larger cause. His commitment to environmental sustainability has grown over the years, and it has become one of his central focuses. Arnold has always believed in pushing the boundaries of human capability, and now he's channeling that same energy into fighting climate change and advocating for a cleaner, more sustainable future. It's a cause that transcends personal success, one that connects him to a global community and gives his life deeper meaning. Arnold's story is a powerful reminder that no matter where we are in life, We all have the potential to reinvent ourselves. He is a living testament to the fact that no matter how accomplished we may be, we can always learn, grow, and shift focus to create a more fulfilling existence. It's never too late to make changes, to heal old wounds, or to seek redemption. For Arnold, the greatest victory will not come from new achievements or accolades, but from the journey of transformation. It is in the small acts of kindness, the wisdom shared with others, and the personal growth that he continues to pursue that his true legacy will be defined. As his life continues to unfold, Arnold's story will undoubtedly inspire future generations to chase their dreams, to fight for their passions, but most importantly, to embrace the journey of self-discovery. His greatest strength was never in his body or his fame, but in his ability to evolve, to become more than just a bodybuilder or a politician, to become a man who has learned the true meaning of strength. Arnold Schwarzenegger's legacy is no longer about what he accomplished on stage or in front of the camera, but about the lasting impact he has on those who were touched by his story, a story that continues to unfold, proving that even the greatest among us are always capable of transformation.